beefing the military. Jimmy Carter was a pro-life Democratic president, which is would be unheard of here in 2024. Bill Clinton actually worked with Newt Gingrich to establish a balanced budget American amendment and said that the era of big government was over, worked on welfare reform as well. Barack Obama even was seen as the deporter-in-chief in terms of the way he handled immigration. Now they embrace Kamala Harris, who is by far the most radical senator and now vice president and now presidential nominee you will ever see. She is for eliminating the fossil fuel industry, ending all offshore drilling, for abolishing ICE. She opposes Remain in Mexico policy and border wall construction. She supports sanctuary cities and giving free health care to illegals. You mentioned before in your monologue, Sean, she wants to end all private health insurance. She wants to allow violent criminals to vote from prison. She doesn't believe in voter ID. She does believe, however, that biological men should compete against biological women. Oh, and she's for expanding the Supreme Court. She's for raising taxes. She's for late-term abortion. And as far as reimagining police, that's code for defund the police, and you tell that to the families of the 200-plus police officers shot in the line of duty this year. And again, Kamala Harris, over and over, has insisted that Joe Biden is as exhausting as, Christian McCaffrey in private. He's as sharp as John Nash. She lied about his physical and mental capacities for years. She covered it up. It's one of the biggest cover-ups in American political history regarding Joe Biden's mental and physical fitness. She's the Baghdad Bob of presidential candidates. And it all goes downhill from here, by the way, because pain is temporary, film is forever, and in Kamala Harris's case, her words are all on video, not from 20 years ago, from just several years ago when she ran for president, and she cannot escape her own record, Sean. Ari.
I'm gonna scroll her radical record. I mean, we've been going over it. I don't want to repeat myself too much. And the reason I'm going to scroll it, because there's a lot of extremism here. And as we've been pointing out, Ari, she's trying to walk a lot of this back, and she's doing it through AIDS. I don't think you can walk back how strongly she has taken positions on every one of these issues. Do you think that strategy works, or do people see through that? Because I believe people are smarter than that.
This student reveals how different types of water can radically affect us in just 120 seconds. If you're concerned about...
That's what we think of Kamala's voting record.
And America is not a left-wing country. You've got to hope that you can change all your positions. Now, the problem with it for Kamala Harris is if you can't stand by what you said yesterday, today, why should we trust anything you're going to tell us tomorrow? So when Kamala Harris, for example, says that Israel has a right to defend itself, that America has an ironclad commitment to Israel, what will stop her from walking away from that tomorrow if she feels like it, just as she's walked away today from her positions yesterday on fracking, on the border, on all the different issues that you all have cited so far tonight? It's a character issue. And that's what left-wing characters have to do in order to get elected. And that is the central mission of the Trump campaign now. Their job is to light up the night sky with illuminating flares showing just how far out liberal left-wing Kamala Harris is. And if they do that, Sean, it really shouldn't be a very close election. It will be close no matter what, but this should give an edge, a substantial edge to Donald Trump, because she is so out of tune where America is, which is why she's trying to walk it back right now. Now, her best ally in walking it back is the mainstream media. And you'll notice she has not answered any hard interviews. She's not done any sessions with reporters, a news conference, a sit-down series of interviews. She even just walks up to the press, gives a one-sentence statement, and walks away, and the press just sits there going, okay, we'll take what you spoon-feed us because we're the White House press corps. Where are they banging on her to get access?
How does, let me ask you this. How does she get away with, and how does Joe Biden get away with the illegal immigrant question? I mean, I can run another scroll. That's the name of all the people that have been murdered by Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the illegal immigrants, even though they lied for 3 years and said the border is closed and the border is secure. Joe.
Well, she has said that she wants to abolish ICE, right? And again, we talked about she opposes Remain in Mexico policy and border wall construction, and basically eliminated the border, along with Joe Biden when he first took office 3.5 years ago. The bottom line is, Sean, that the Democratic brand is still the brand. You could replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, but inflation is still way too high for people's tastes, right? Something like the cost of living is up 25% since Joe Biden took office. Gas prices are still 50% higher than when they were when Donald Trump left. We still have 10 million people who entered the country illegally, including hundreds on the FBI terror watch list. The Ukraine-Russia war continues to be in perpetuity, in a stalemate, because the United States keeps funding that war. And Democrats have taken all these positions that Americans, common sense, forget conservative or Democrat, just common sense people simply do not agree with. So I don't think that she does, to Ari's point, get away with this eventually. She's going to have to answer questions eventually. You can't do 3 months of fluff until we get to Election Day. And when that debate happens between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, and I believe it will, I think that's where she gets exposed the same way Joe Biden was exposed on June 27th in Atlanta, Sean.
Last question, exit question for Ari. We only have about 30 seconds. Ari, certainly she's got a sugar high. She's in the honeymoon phase. Polls are tightening, we're told. I'm not worried about it, because this is what I believe. If America sees this extremist record, I believe that America will never vote for her for president. Is that just temporary, or am I right? Am I wrong?
Well, I think you're right, Sean, about people who watch conservative news, but I'm worried about a swath of people down the middle who are passive, who don't really watch a lot of news, who might just be hearing this buzz about Kamala Harris, which is why it's so up to the Trump campaign to bring that message to your casual voter. They need to know this, too. It's the independent down the middle. There are not a lot of them left, but that's going to much likely be the big group that helps decide this election.